Okay, so continuing with these tutorials, I'm going to move on to the next thing. So far, although I may have been going a little bit out of order to what this list may show, I need to go back maybe a couple of steps and just make sure that I'm logged into CodePen. I think I did that in the first video, and just in case I didn't, I'm logging in. If you haven't created a CodePen account, they're free, they're easy to get to, and you can get it done in a couple of minutes. Oh, by the way, as you're doing this, let me go back just to show you that if I go back and log out, as I'm logging in, if you have not created an account yet, you might, and you have a GitHub account, which you may have if you're taking classes with me, you can log in with GitHub and that'll get you through really quick. I've already signed up. I have my my username, etc. So I'll just log in. The other thing that we might need is just let me read what's going on here. So we're going to create a new pen and we're going to call it My First React App. I'll just copy that text, go back to CodePen, and on the pen option, I'll just create this new pen. It's untitled. I'll click on the pencil next to untitled so that then I can paste what I copied. This is my first React app. Now I'm going to change the way that the screens are displayed so that I can follow along a little bit better. I'm going to change the view so that it's vertically stacked on the left, and I can see my HTML, my CSS, and my JavaScript. I'll go back to this page to see what follows along next. Since you're probably not working in a PC environment, as I said in the last video, this is geared toward people with Chromebooks. And you may not have access to an NPM, and let me click on that, and every time you see something that with the link, you can get more information. This tells you more about what an NPM is, and basically what it is, it's just getting information from somewhere else so that your programs can access things that are not necessarily installed in your computer. In the case of the Chromebook users, this is becoming real necessary. You have to pull them from somewhere else, but since we cannot install nodejs as of yet on a Chromebook, we're just going to use what's accessible to us in CodePen. So now that I've created this CodePen, called it My First React App, it's got no content in it. I'm going to click on Settings, and it tells me what it's called. I'm going to leave that as the name. You can use a pen description if you want. It's not necessary. HTML settings. We don't need a preprocessor for that. We're going to use plain vanilla HTML. On CSS, the same things. We don't want to go and use a preprocessor, although if you look in free tutorials online, on YouTube maybe, they'll tell you to use SCSS or SCAS. What I'm more interested in is going to the JavaScript settings. And here, we do definitely need a preprocessor, since we're pulling in information that's not necessarily native to an HTML or simple JavaScript project. I'm going to click on the part where it says None and select Babel. So that'll translate a couple of things for us. I scroll down just a little bit here, and you'll see that it's ready to load some information from elsewhere. So basically, this is what we would do with a regular page. We would call an npm from elsewhere. They're built into the environment that we're using with CodePen. So I'll just go into the search CDNs and tell it, give me some React stuff. So I'll say React. The first one is just a basic React. I'll click on that. It's now selected and it puts it in the first space there. I'll click on the same search window up there and I'll say give me more React by typing in React again, and I want the DOM. I'll click on that. I now have Babel turned on. I have the CDNs that I need, which is the basic jQuery, rather the basic React, and React DOM. I'll save and close, and I go back to my pen. So these in the background, they have been added to the project so that it will understand what we're doing or trying to do with React inside of CodePen. this would be a good time to save. I'll click on save here. It tells me that my pen has been saved. In the directions that I have for this class, you can move along to, we've already done the first tutorial part. We're still deep into it, but we've already got the first part. We have done the introduction, and let me go on to the get started, so that it tells me what to do to set up the environment. As I said, it tells you that you need npm and node.js. We don't have those for Chromebook, so we've already satisfied what it's asking for there by adding the settings onto this CodePen. React directly in HTML, they'll tell you that, well, if you were to use this file, it will actually create your first application, but it does so by calling on some information from elsewhere in the internet. It gets the React package, it gets the React DOM package from somewhere else, and even the Babel from somewhere else. We're getting everything from CodePen. So that if you have this HTML code, which I'll copy, I think, well, I'll go to the try it yourself right here. So it gives me, the what we're supposed to be looking at. It gives me the HTML on the left, and this is all in one page. So it just declares an HTML page right away. I'll go over this code by copying it and pasting it in my first React app. I'll minimize the JS a bit for now and the CSS a bit, and I'll click on the HTML window and paste the code that I just copied here. I'll get this text a little bit larger so I can read it. You'll see that it tells me hello world right away. It's understanding what's going on, but maybe not because it's got the npm installed and node.js installed, but rather because it's pulling information from the settings we gave it. So some things that I will not need in CodePen, this script right here is JavaScript that's calling on those packages that I've been talking about. So I'll delete those lines. And you'll see that hello world still appears because it's pulling the information from within CodePen. So the next script gets the Babel. Babel's already being pulled from the CodePen.io site as well. I'll delete that script. So I'm getting less and less code in here. You'll see that hello world appears because although it doesn't depend on those scripts from the internet, it did need Babel at some point, and I took it all out, and now it's just sort of flying blind with the HTML. We'll fix that in just a second. Let's see what's going on. It creates the body tag right away, so that then it's got a division that has nothing. See that division right there? That's not even a space. It just says my division actually is where everything in the application is going to live. And that is done through the script that follows. This script right here, it's the Babel script. I'm going to, I don't necessarily need this declaration because, like I said, Babel is already in our environment. So it declares a class, and if you have any bit of programming experience, then you should know that class is kind of like a function that's being declared in a program. And this is a little program or function called hello. It extends a component from React, and then it renders, and that is, it displays some text that says hello world. And you'll see that unlike other scripts which depend on HTML calling JavaScript, this is JavaScript here calling HTML. So H1, which you should know from your HTML classes, is just a header, the hello world header that's out there. I'm going to copy this code. We'll be typing lots of code later. Right now, on this introduction, I'm just copying and pasting. So I'll cut that out. Expect the hello world to leave. I probably needed that other thing, but let me go into the JS. I'll make this a little bit larger, and I'll paste what I just copied or cut from there. So the class hello extends React component is placed there. I also need the DOM so that it knows how that it needs to display this on the screen. I'll get those two lines there cut right click and cut, and paste it in the JavaScript afterward. Just press Ctrl V to paste. I'll delete this script that's left, and my HTML is now very basic. It just opens up a body. It's got the HTML tag on top. It opens and then it closes at the bottom as well. It's just a regular HTML page, and it's got this little division that's pulling this my division from an ID. The ID is being declared in JavaScript. It's not even declared in CSS. We've got no CSS yet. We'll have some later, but just by doing this, following along with these directions, then you can see that we have pulled some information from W3 Schools, and I'll show you as we go along how you need to get the code and put it into your CodePen.io account and display these pages. This is a very tiny application, but an application nonetheless. It's got HTML and JavaScript. When you turn this in, if you're taking my class, I'm going to click on Save and click on my first React app. This is what I want you to turn in, codepen.io/idtprof/ well, that's my username. Your username /pen, and then whatever name they gave you. You can copy that, and in your assignment, click on the assignment name and find at the bottom in the submission the right submission and paste that URL, which we have to press Ctrl V, and that's what I want. Submit that, and I'll be grading that in the near future. I'll see you in the next video.